There we go.
Could have better interference. Hi, everyone. I'm Joel Emile. I'm the creator of the Helping Hand Show. To watch more Helping Hand shows, go to our website, helpinghandshows.com. Also, the Helping Hand book is now available to purchase on the website. This Helping Hand show is called The Bicycle Man.
Thank you, Joel, and welcome. Welcome once again to Helping Hand, the Bicycle Man. All right, here we go. It was my sixth birthday when mother and dad got me my first bicycle. It was a Schwinn 20-inch blue bike. I had one of my cousin's old bike, with the hard rubber and all that, because I was small, I was learning. But now this was mine. It was blue, it had a bell on the handlebars, and as a kid, man, don't you know, I rode that thing everywhere by myself, exploring the neighborhood with my pals, my buddies, all my friends had bicycles and they gave us freedom. We rode them to school, to the parks, up to the playground, basically everywhere we could. I was proud of my bike. I even got it inspected, one time when the police came to school on a Saturday morning to give bike inspections. I was really proud of that. I've had many bikes through the years. Most recently, now it's a mountain bike. I ride the woods near my neighborhood, to the park, on the bike path over there, all over. But this story is not about me. It's about a guy called Marty Lerner, the bicycle man. See how I did that? The bicycle man, everyone sees him in town, and he rides his bike. When I say everywhere, I mean he rode it everywhere. Thinking back, it was a summer day when everything changed for our pal Marty. As a kid growing up in our neighborhood, Marty rode his bike all over the place. I mean, he was just silly with it on the sidewalks, on the street, anywhere he could. His family was pretty well to do. They were comfortable. So his bike was pretty cool, I have to say. It had a banana seat, sissy bar, and it was a 10 speed. Oh, not only was that bike fast, but Marty, he'd always be doing wheelies on it. There was always that one kid in the neighborhood who could get up and ride on his back tire, his back wheel. That was Marty. He would ride on that bike's back wheel all the way down the main street here in town. Let me tell you, he had everyone's attention when he would do that. It made people a little nervous sometimes, but I mean, to me and all of our pals, man, that was cool. Now, when I think about it, he might have had too much attention because one time when Marty was doing his wheelies, that's when life happened. So Marty was riding his bike down the street, doing wheelies like he would. And maybe it was because the front of his bike was up, in front of his face, up in the air, but he didn't see the traffic light change from green to red going his way. So he went right through the red light, cut off a car that had the green light. That car's driver lost control while he was swerving so as not to hit Marty. Marty made it safely through the intersection, but the car crashed into a tree. That driver, oof, he was thrown from the car and was badly hurt. It came out that he wasn't wearing his seatbelt. Now, remember, this was before seatbelt laws were a thing. Okay, that's only been since what, the mid late 80s. At any rate, that's what I remember. It was a long time ago, many summers ago, but Marty is still riding his bike everywhere. His good friend William, he confronted him kind of about this recently at their high school class reunion.
Hey, Marty. Hey, it's me, William, and the gang from the old high school class. Can we ask you something?
William, what's up? Hi, guys. Wow, you're all here. It's great seeing you all.
Look, Marty, we were all thinking, and we decided to ask you. Have you ever learned how to drive a car? Did you ever get your license? Tanya here said she saw you riding your bike to this restaurant tonight. What's wrong, Marty? Tanya also says the other classmates has seen you always riding your bike. Right, Tanya?
It's true, William. Marty still hasn't learned how to drive a car. He doesn't even own one. It's amazing, Marty. So far, you lived your whole entire life going everywhere on your bike. I mean, it seems impossible for anyone to live without a car these days, right? Maria, you just had a baby. Could you ever survive riding on a bike?
How could I survive living life by riding a bike everywhere? We just bought an SUV. With the baby seat, stroller, and groceries, we needed the space. Getting a car at 17 was my ticket to freedom. It gave us all life, especially with Manny having to deliver all that food from his dad's restaurant.
You are so right. Before my dad bought me a car, I was just like Marty. I drove my bike everywhere, delivering all the meals, and my dad didn't care how far someone lived. He took food orders from across town. He just didn't care about how I got there, but that the food was delivered. Marty, I can't believe you're still riding a bike. I understand and get how the car accident made you feel, but you need to live. You're getting older, and it's only going to get harder to pedal everywhere. You need to start driving.
Well, and there it is. There it is. As you can see, Marty's old high school pals and friends still can't believe that he's continuing to ride a bike to get around exclusively. They all know about the car accident that was caused, by him riding through that red light. And they all know he feels very responsible for that driver of that car getting hurt. But it's Marty, evidently, who they're thinking that needs to deal with those inner feelings that he has. Feeling guilty can interfere with the way you live your life. This feeling could come from a past mistake, unrealistic expectations for yourself, all sorts of things. Feeling guilty about something you may have said or done, that can lead to feelings of shame, anxiety, and blaming yourself. There are ways to deal with guilt about something you might have done or said. Here are a couple few ways that could help. Number one, be open about how you feel to others and yourself. Number two, stay busy. Get involved with something, activities that interest you. Focus on other things, like hobbies, maybe sports or music, whatever you like. This can be a good distraction that'll help you to heal. Number three, be productive with your available time. Again, get involved with something. Might be a hobby, involved in a group or organization, volunteering or helping other people. This will bring you positive and good feelings too. Number four, work on your self-esteem. Stop blaming yourself, okay? Work on and strengthen your own personal belief system too. Number five, give yourself a break. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. Learn forgiveness, especially, where yourself is concerned. Learn forgiveness and just learn to move forward rather in life. Learn to look for the positive. Be as upbeat, can do, and of good cheer as can be. Doing all you can to be happy. And number six, love yourself and love others. Feeling loved and loving someone or something like a pet, for example, that brings joy and happiness. It makes you feel at peace and it makes you feel valid. It's very helpful. Family and friends need your smiles as much as you need theirs. So, this is exactly what William talks to Marty about, explaining these things to Marty at their high school class reunion in an effort to help him move on with his life, in life, after all these years.
Hey, Marty. Everyone I've spoken to at this class reunion, they're all asking about you. Everyone remembers you as the class clown, the crazy kid who did tricks on his bike. And you know something? They're still talking about that time you put the ramp next to the principal's car and jumped over with your bike. That was sick, by the way. And also the time you rode your bike through the school hallways while everyone took their SAT test. I mean, dude, epic. Every teacher was chasing you through the school hallways trying to catch you. Hey, you got a 2-week suspension for doing that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. And that was the longest 2 weeks of my life. My dad wasn't so happy about that. In fact, he actually threw my bike in the garbage. I would have lost it if our neighbor Tommy hadn't taken it out before the garbage truck came. Tommy was a good neighbor and a friend to me. He always looked after the kids in the neighborhood. He was a former veteran who served in the Marines. He and his wife never had any kids, but he had a brother who always came to visit them on the weekends. Because Tommy was injured while serving our country, he was disabled and needed help with things. That's why his brother always came over every weekend to help Tommy fix things around the house and cut his grass. I always wished I had a brother, someone who always had your back and cared for you. You see, Manny, how lucky you are. You have two brothers.
Marty, don't you remember they always used to call me the Manny the donkey? My brothers were older than me and bossed me around. Whenever my father told them to do something, they just had me do it. The only thing I could ever get from them were their hand-me-down clothes. I mean, it wasn't all bad having brothers, but because I was the smallest and the youngest one, it wasn't a party. I would have rather had sisters like Tanya or Maria. Right, Maria?
Manny, you're crazy. You're talking about getting hand-me-down clothes? My sister was enjoying fancy dresses to school. Have you ever seen me in a dress? All my parents wanted was to save money and give me her old clothes. Every year, I would have to beg and cry for cargo or dungaree pants. They just didn't get it. Maybe that's why my sister's a nurse today and I'm a police officer. I was the tough one, only wanted to go back to school shopping where the boys went. I didn't want to wear a skirt or a flowery dress to school. Didn't you feel the same way, Tanya?
Maria, I remember those dresses your sister and her friends would wear to school. Those girls were always so pretty and so popular, but we were the cooler kids for sure. But I never got hand me downs from my sister. You do remember my sister Pamela, right? She loved to eat and she was just so much larger than me. I was just the size of a toothpick, but my parents always told me to eat more and gain some more weight. But I think I weighed the same all throughout high school, so I always got new clothes to wear for school. Pamela's clothes were too big for me. I loved my sister and always made sure that she ate as much as I wanted to eat as well. But whenever I did have leftover snacks, I gave them all to her. That way I knew that I was going to get new clothing.
Oh boy. Wow. As an only child, I don't know anything about this. But I do remember back then, as a school kid, almost anybody could get bullied for nearly anything and everything. And my issue for a few years, I was the new guy. Yeah. Now, I played football, was active in other activities and other sports and whatnot. And there were a couple of guys who I really got along well with at my new school. And I really, really enjoyed hanging out with them. But, there's always those other guys who would go out of their way to give me the business. Thanks. Anyway, my pals and I, we'd go get a sub and a soda, ice cream, pizza pie, burgers and fries were, and still are, by the way, my favorites. Now, if I wasn't careful, I could get a little chunky now and then. So I always had to work out a little more, a little harder, from getting too chunky. They called it husky back then. Being husky was the exception, not the rule back in our junior high and high school days. And that's what the other guys who would give me the business would key on, especially as the new guy. Thanks. My pals, they were pretty slim, thin, svelte, if you will. So really nobody gave them the business for being husky. There was no reason to. Now, today, all these years later, the world is different. Our country has a pretty high rate of overweight people, depending upon what factors you use. But it's the fact that more and more adults do fall within what's called the obesity range. Now, this is despite people's efforts to eat healthier foods. The obesity levels at the highest point pretty much ever. It's been said that about 40%, give or take, of US adults and 18.5% of children, give or take, are considered clinically obese. That's why so many people, everyone, including kids, should really, really make the attempt to live a healthier lifestyle. It's not always easy, I get it. But you know what? It could mean easy things like doing regular physical activities. Get off the sofa, turn the video game off. It's a lovely day out there, okay? Get outside, get away from the video games. Use the stairs instead of taking the elevator. Park just a little further away from the store entrance so you can walk more, okay, from the car to the store. Eat some more vegetables, maybe. And stay away from those high calorie carbohydrate foods and snacks. Just exercise. Get off the couch. You know what I mean? Again, Sometimes it's easier said than done. I understand. Now, back to our story in just a moment, because as I'm thinking of it, let me just off the top of my head here think of a couple few healthy tips that could be something to shoot for you know, whoever. Eat less carbohydrates. You know, stay away from the carbs as much as can be. Eat more fruits and veggies. Eat more fish. Eat less foods with saturated fats and sugars. I find myself looking at the labels on stuff a lot more these days. I really do. Drink more water. I've done that for a variety of reasons, but it's very helpful. Now, mind you, these are only suggestions. I cannot and I am not going to tell you what to do. It's not my place, but I can tell you that from experience, doing things like this can help you feel better and look better. It's information, folks. Do with it what's best for you. Take what you can use, leave the rest, you know? Anyway, oh, one other thing. Please don't encourage your sister to eat more snacks so you don't get the hand me down clothes like Tanya did. That's brilliant. I get it, but probably not the best choice, not the best thing to do. All right. Back to our story where William talks to Marty about starting to learn to drive. So, as a grown man, an adult now, he'll no longer need to ride his bike everywhere.
Marty, listen to me. At your age, I really think you should start driving a car. Listen, man, I'm worried about you. You just can't continue riding your bike everywhere. What would happen if you fell off and got hurt? Or if you lost your job again and had to find a new place to work? How many times have you had to move to a different apartment because your new job was too far away to ride back and forth to? You know, Marty, this is a little hard to say to you, man, because we're buddies and all that, but you know, maybe all your girlfriends are breaking up with you because you don't have a car. I mean, didn't you ever think that people might see that as odd and weird? You know, like who doesn't drive anymore, Marty? Please tell us why you won't go to get your license. What's stopping you, man?
William, do you remember that accident I had when I was riding my bike and doing a wheelie down Main Street? Because of my craziness and wanting to be a show off, I didn't see that red traffic light. It went right through it. It caused that car to lose control by not hitting me. And that driver was thrown from his car, getting badly hurt. Well, that guy was in the hospital for weeks and spent months in therapy. He broke both his legs because of me. You remember that, right, Manny? Both of you and William were there that day watching me doing wheelies up and down the street.
Yes, we were both there, and that was a scary day for all of us. But Marty, it was an accident. We were all kids back then, and we all did crazy, stupid stuff. You didn't mean to cut that car off. Car accidents happen all the time. And as I remember, you never did a wheelie on that bike ever again. And what does this even have to do with not driving a car? I don't understand.
Well, guys, that man who got hurt that day was my neighbor Tommy's brother. And because he got hurt, he couldn't go to Tommy's house like he always did every weekend to help him. Tommy depended on his brother's help because he was a disabled Marine veteran and was living life stuck in a wheelchair. So because of my mistake, Tommy didn't get his brother's help. This is the guilt I still live with, and it makes me afraid of what stupid thing I could do if I drove a car. I'm scared. I will make a mistake while driving and hurt someone. This is why I just keep riding my bike. Do you now understand, Manny?
Marty, we were just kids when that happened. We all make mistakes that could hurt someone. Do you remember when my father's restaurant burnt down? We lost everything back then. Everyone said it was an electrical fire. Even though the insurance had fixed the restaurant, my dad lost priceless pictures and other things. That fire really hurt him, and he blamed himself. But that electrical fire started because I used old broken extension cords for my guitar and amplifier. I used to practice playing in his room, so it was my fault that the restaurant burnt down. It was my fault, William.
Listen, Manny, maybe it was your fault, but look at you today. You know, Marty, he didn't give up playing his electric guitar, right, Manny? You still practice every day, even though your dad's restaurant burnt down. Marty, look what Manny became. He's the lead guitarist for Thunder, the greatest rock and roll band ever. He's traveled around the world playing shows, concerts, doing TV shows, and he could buy his dad 100 restaurants today to make up for the one he burnt down. But you see, Marty, Manny didn't give up on life and let his guilt control how he lived it. Accidents happen, and then we need to move on. And as I remember, you were always over at your neighbor Tommy's house every weekend, helping him with stuff. I mean, in fact, me and the boys came over and helped you fix things and cut his grass a few times. Marty, listen, man, you paid for your mistakes so many times over. Just let the guilt go and start living, man. And to help you start this new guilt-free life, I'm offering you my helping hand. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to teach you how to drive a car. I'm going to take you to the Department of Motor Vehicles. You're going to pass your written test. You're going to pass your road test. You're going to get your driver's license, buddy.
Folks, that's our helping hand episode for today. Another good one. And we hope you really enjoyed it and that it resonates with you on whatever level. Now, don't forget to catch more helping hand shows, because we've got a bunch. We've got that website you're going to want to go to and to tell a friend about too, or 2 friends, or 22 friends. Go to Helping Hand Shows, plural, all one word now, helpinghandshows.com. That's helpinghandshows.com. Plus, if you want the Helping Hand book, just came out. It's brand new, okay? Also go to helpinghandshows.com. There's an area there where you can get your copy. It's easy and really low price. Trust me when I tell you. At any rate, thank you for being with us. And as always, Helping Hand, it's conceived by Joel Emil, who's also the writer of this episode, called The Bicycle Man. Now, the characters and the actors are as such tonight. Joel Emil, he was Marty Lerner. Ryan Evans was William Parker. Jennifer Service was Tanya Carter. Audrey Larson was Maria Senta. And Sean Cooper was Manny Testa. So, thank you, folks, for being a part of it. Also, we want to give a big thank you as well to our friend Gino DiPiero of HamiltonRadio.net. Gino's our producer and our recording engineer, as always. Now, don't forget this either. You can catch Helping Hand on Hamilton Radio as well every weekend. Fridays at 8 p.m., Saturdays 9 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m. HamiltonRadio.net. Okay? HamiltonRadio.net. And me, I'm still your guy, your Uncle John Thielon, your host and narrator. Always remember, don't give up. Don't ever give up. Keep the faith. Keep moving forward. Our opportunities for success and positivity, personally, professionally, and even with our health, they're closer than you think. Till next time, so long from Helping Hand.